So today we're going to learn how to put paint on our palette, take it back to our seats with our rag, and learn how to paint appropriately with the paintbrush. So we want to come over to the sink and we want to grab a paint palette, which is one of these little guys. It has 6 little wells in it. That's what we call them, little wells. So we're going to come back over to the paints, set that there. And we're going to make sure that the paint is not caked on the edge of the squirter. Otherwise it will squirt out at you, maybe on your face and clothes. So you usually want to just bust off or crack off the dry paint. And then we're going to take the primary colors today. So we're going to push down just 1 or 2 times just to stay inside of the well. So I'm going to get blue, and I'm going to get red, and I'm going to get yellow. Now I want a little bit of white and black, and our white and black spout was not working. So if you need some help, you can always ask a friend, and I'm gonna tip over a little bit. This is where the mess happens, but our squirters weren't working. So we wanna stay inside that well. I'm gonna get some black and some white. Okay, so when we're looking at the paint palette, this is how the paint should be. You will never need more than this for a single piece of paper that we're painting on. So if you have more paint in your tray and it's overflowing the wells, if it's just oozing out over the side, then you do not want that. That's gonna make a big mess. So that's how we get the paints. So now we're gonna come back over to the table. We're gonna set our paints down by our picture, just like that. And the paintbrushes are usually on the side in the cups, but I've been washing them out today. So I grabbed a brush already, and I'm gonna set us up right here. So what we wanna do is, I'm gonna lift this up so we can see a little bit better. There we go. I have my kangaroo already drawn for the Aboriginal dot painting, okay? And what we want to do is make sure that the drawing is ready to be painted and it's been outlined with black marker. So I'm gonna drop us down there. There we go. That's perfect. There we go. Okay. So I'm gonna take a seat. Now, when we're putting paint on our brush, we don't want to stick the whole brush inside the paint. So you just want to have the first half of the paintbrush covered in paint. So I'm going to decide that I want to paint a primary color, and primary colors are yellow, blue, and red. And then from those colors, we can make secondary colors. So today, I'm going to start to paint my kangaroo, and I think I'm gonna do yellow. So that's all the amount of paint you should have on your brush when you're painting a paper. If you had a big board or we're doing a mural, then you'd want a bigger brush and put paint all over that brush. But we're gonna dip it halfway, and I'm gonna start to paint my kangaroo yellow. So you're choosing what colors you want. We're holding the brush like a pencil really close, and we're going to paint inside of those lines slowly, carefully, with good craftsmanship, so that our grade is a B or an A. And you can keep adding more paint to your brush and keep painting. So we'll be painting until the whole kangaroo is filled. And I'm gonna make a pattern in my kangaroo, so I'm gonna stop at the tail. And then I'm going to make a secondary color. I'm going to make orange. So I'm going to start with the lightest color, and I'm going to mix yellow. And if you have a paint board underneath your paper, you can mix right on your paint board. So I'm going to mix a yellow, and I'm going to add just a little bit of red to it because I want an orange. So then I'm going to start painting my orange very carefully, slowly, and I'm going to start to do that for his feet. I'm using distinctive shapes to just fill in my kangaroo. And I'm gonna do like a little line right here. Now, your design is up to you, how you want your animal to look. I want these all to look different, and I want them to come from your imagination. So we're painting very neatly inside of those black outlines. Now, I want to paint this part red, so I'm going to go back to red. I don't need to rinse my brush off yet, and I'm still only using the top. So I'm going to start painting the top of him red. And these are also what we call warm colors, because they're the colors of the sun. Red, orange, yellow, those warm colors I'm using. You might use cold colors for if you have a turtle or a snake maybe. So I'm going slow, filling in very carefully. I got a little joey in the pouch, so I'm going to go around that joey and do the joey a different color. So I'm painting it in. So now I have red, orange, and yellow, and I'm going to go back to orange for this leg. So I'm going to add my yellow back on here, can mix on my paint board, and I'm gonna paint this leg orange because I want both of his orange legs. That's my choice. You have choices. And then I'm gonna go back to yellow for the head. If you wanted to make green, we could add yellow mixed with blue, and you can make your green secondary color. And that's what you're gonna experiment with on your paint board and on your picture. So I'm gonna go back to yellow. So I can either wipe my brush, or you can rinse your brush off. Now, the correct way, if I run over to the sink and get a little cup of water, which I'm gonna do right now. So when we have our water, how do we rinse our brush off? Well, we certainly don't want to spray it and splatter it everywhere. So we're going to swish it around, wipe it on the side very carefully. So we're swishing and wiping. You don't want to stab it down at the bottom. And then with our paper towel or our paint board, we can dry our brush off just like that. Or a little cotton swab that I give you too. So I'm going to set the water here and go back to my yellow for the kangaroo face. And I think I'm gonna do his little paws yellow too. So I'm gonna paint until it's all carefully painted in. I'm gonna do his head yellow. Now the marker might start to bleed into the paint a little bit, and that's okay because it adds a little bit of dimension and shadow, and then we'll go back over with some marker at the end. So I got my face done, my little hands done, and I think I'm gonna make the joey yellow because it'll stand out against that red. It'll look a little bit brighter. And then I think I'm gonna do his nose orange again. So I'm just gonna take the orange that was already on my table because I don't need a lot for that little tiny spot. So I'm just gonna fill it in like that. And now I can just wipe my brush off because I'm gonna go to a little bit of black, and the black's so dark that it'll cover up the paint. And I'm gonna do his little eyes like that. And then I have fully painted in my Aboriginal animal. So we wanna rinse our brush, swish, carefully wipe. We are not tapping and hitting. And then wipe off on the paper towel or on your paint board. And then you'll return those back to the sink, and you're gonna rest them up in their cup, and we'll dump the rest of this out in the sink. When it's done, you'll have pictures that look like this. Here's the koala that I did that was finished, and here is we have the finished kangaroo. So in the next video, I'll show you how to do the dot painting. So make sure that you're using some primary colors in your animal, and also try for at least one secondary color. All right. Thanks.